Hello and welcome to another edition of Attractwell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of Attractwell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hi, everyone. Really glad you're here today.
We are. Go ahead and head into the chat as you're coming in. Let us know where you're coming in from and what kind of work you do with your clients. This is a call that we offer every Thursday at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time. And as a member of the Attractwell community, you get to join here live, or even if you're curious, if you're not even with Attractwell yet, you want to see what it is that we do here and see if it might work for your business. This is a great opportunity to get to know what we do and how the system works. Today, we are spending a little bit more time on a sort of adjacent topic. Today, we're talking about how we time block. If you're familiar at all with the concept of time blocking for personal productivity and time management, you're going to be somewhat familiar with what I share with you today. I'm going to be sharing a practical approach that really helps you to generate space, both for the typical tasks that you have to engage with in your business, as well as the things that you might usually put off. So this is going to be a holistic view of how to do this, and I will show you how this ties all back into the Attractwell system, though we are going to be spending the bulk of our time today in a calendar such as Google Calendars, or on your local device that you would have like a Google or Outlook calendar connected to. So again, welcome. Excited to have you here today. I'm a really big fan of this topic, the idea of self-management and personal productivity, not in the vein of hustle culture, but really in being able to create the healthy boundaries that allow us to get more done so that the time that we have to do whatever it is that we'd like to do is something that's more fulfilling, right? Whether that's the work that you're doing being more fulfilling, you being able to be more present for the work that you do with clients, or just having more space available to just enjoy the time that you have with loved ones or doing things that you like to do outside of your working hours. So we're going to talk today about how we can create that space, really optimize the time that you've set aside for your work. And I'm going to show you exactly how I set my calendar up to do just that and get it connected to Attractwell so that it accurately displays when I'm actually available and when I'm not, so that folks can book with me, whether it be clients or leads as needed. So welcome. It's good to see folks coming in from all over the world. I hope you are warm and safe wherever you are. We are so thrilled to have you here with us. Greg and I are going to pop out a video, and I'm going to get into the slides that we've prepared for you here today, where again, as promised, we're talking about time block planning. Let me know in the chat if this is something that you have played around with before. Have you attempted to institute something like this for yourself? Curious how that went for you. I will say here at the outset, I am not an early adopter type of person. I hear about something, it takes me a while to adapt to change and to truly bring something into the way that I work. But I can say that of all of the things that I have done as a non-digital native who has integrated myself into a digital approach for managing my life on the whole, not just my business, this is the one thing that has provided the greatest benefit of all of the things that I've done, moving to a digital calendar and creating boundaries based on how I choose to use this calendar has changed everything. And again, this is work, this is personal, it is fulfillment. It's really important that we have these things in place, right? All right, so let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about how you can design a weekly schedule that actually works for your life, how you can stop being reactive and start creating intentional space for different types of work. We'll talk about how to make those big projects, maybe stuff you're doing with Attractwell, building funnels, courses, websites, etc., finally happen without adding more hours to your schedule. And we'll talk about how Attractwell's calendaring system eliminates the need for you to manually change your availability, basically rendering the links that you have that share your time for people to book with you always accurate, right? If we do a couple of things right, you will never have to worry about going in and manually changing when you're available and when you're not inside of Attractwell. And then, of course, life help and Q&A. So if you have questions, please do go ahead and add those to the Q&A as we are going through the call. Greg is able to answer these. I'll be able to get to any as well. Leslie, if you are here, go ahead and let us know. I know you signed up for a review today, so we'll be excited to chat with you. I do see you're here. Oh, fantastic. All right, yeah, so we'll be bringing you out here in just a bit. If you are watching this as a replay, come join us live every Thursday, 2 p.m. US Eastern Time at attractwell.com/office hours if you want to get on the list. If you would like to work together, as Leslie and I are going to do here in just a bit, attractwell.com/work review is your opportunity on one of these Thursday calls to hop on and work with me directly if you want to have me look at what's happening, if you want to troubleshoot, you need some hands-on help, or you just want a little bit of strategic coaching. All of this is available to you here, and it's totally free for you as a member of our community. If you want hands-on help, that is maybe not during this hour, we get together in the second half of this hour to do that work. And yes, Leslie, very specific things to ask is totally fine, even if they have nothing to do with today's topic. Yeah, we can absolutely get into those. So attractwell.com/live help is another great option if you're looking for something that is just dedicated, not, the second half of a training call like we're doing here today. Pam runs these calls. She is brilliant. She is available in different times throughout the week. Also a great opportunity. And if you would like to just hand off the work that you need done to someone qualified to do it, we've got a team for you. attractwell.com/concierge. It's where you can go to learn more about the team and get a quote for your project. All right. So let's get into this. At the end of the day, I think that the breaking point that we find ourselves at is whether or not we are actually the one in the driver's seat fully for our business, right? Most of us are staying stuck in reactive mode, and this drains us. It drains us of spirit, of productivity, and of time, ultimately, because we're constantly distracted. We are checking messages. We are responding to emails as they come in. We are hopping between tasks, from task to task to task. And the fact is that the switching between those things that we're doing is a massive tax on your productivity, right? And what this ultimately begins to look like is us never really making the real progress that we wish we would make toward getting the things completed that we want, especially the things that feel big that we put off, right? So maybe getting content done, scheduled ahead of time, right? Or getting a course or a program made, or a new page for your website, or whatever it is that you want to do. A lot of the times, these we either get stuck in a project hole where we're only doing that and we forget to grow our business, or we're just responding to everything that comes up and pushing the things that we want done further and further on the back burner, right? So where we can ultimately feel like is that our business is running us, right? So when we don't have intentional structure in place, we stay operating in survival mode. You're exhausted, you feel behind, you feel like you're failing at the work that you're doing. Tell me if this sounds familiar. But at the end of the day, what this is about is not working more hours, right? I don't want to show you today how to hustle. I'm not going to show you today how to do more in more time. I'm going to show you how to do more in the time that you have actually truly available, that you want to spend, right? So we have to begin with dispensing with the idea that multitasking is a good thing. It is not a talent. It is a tax. It is a focus deficiency. It doesn't work. It kills productivity and creativity. This is an argument that I used to have often with my husband. He was a professional chef for many years. COVID changed that trajectory, thankfully. But as a chef, if you guys are familiar at all with working in commercial kitchens, you do have to multitask, right? You have to often, especially if you're in an executive chef role, as he was in, you are quite literally putting out fires, right? You are reacting to 37 things going on around you all the time. And you also know, if you're familiar with that environment, it is incredibly high stress, toxic stress, right? And it's underpaid, undervalued work, right? So sure, it is valuable in some instances that are unsustainable for your health and your work-life balance. So let's maybe not be like the chef here, because that is not something that you like. You have a choice. You don't have to work like things are truly on fire, right? So multitasking is the first thing that we need to let go of, because we can't focus on email and content and our prospecting at the same time, right? We can't be fully present for three things. We can be present for one thing, set it down, and go be present for the next. And if we choose that approach instead, we can get 3-4 times more done in the same amount of time, because we aren't trying to hop back and forth and juggle. Has anybody actually physically tried to juggle? It's hard, right? It's the reason why that's in the circus and not like a day job, like literal juggling. It's a circus job. All right, so trying to do everything at once ultimately means that nothing gets done well. So context switching is really the thing that's happening when we're juggling, right? We're juggling this and that. We're spinning multiple plates. This is our thief of time. And this is our thief of efficacy, of productivity, right? So every time we switch tasks, so let's just say, for instance, you're putting some good thought into an approach that you might take to create a piece of content. But then you get a ping on your phone or on your device, and an email comes up from a client. That client's not expecting you to respond within 5 seconds of receiving that email, but now your brain is in the response for that client and no longer in this creative task thinking about the positioning for your content. And in order for you to get back into the mind frame of being on top of getting this content done well, it's going to take almost as much time to get there in the first place to reestablish yourself on that path. This is context switching, and it is the major thief of the work that you're doing, the time that you have, right? And your ability to get things done. So the first thing I hope that you will do to this end is to turn off pings, dings, notifications for everything, especially during periods of time that you want to commit yourself to dedicated work. Maybe you allow emergency calls from your kid's school and that's the only thing. Or maybe you got to, I would actually love to go back to having landlines and only giving those away to people who like absolutely need them for emergencies, right? It is not an emergency the majority of the time when we receive an email, and yet we react to it like it is, or a text, right? So turn off notifications so that you can actually focus. Trying to, and this is true as well in less creatively demanding instances when you are networking, prospecting, maybe you're in the DMs on social, trying to do that while also, sending off an email, getting your newsletter together. Neither of these things get done well when we're trying to do both at the same time. So the way that we get started with this is with a daily template calendar. So I'm going to assume here that we all have a digital calendar. If you do not, please get one today. You can get a free one. I'm going to be showing you a Google Calendar today. That's my preference here, is using a Google Calendar for this, and I plug it into my devices. So I don't usually go into calendar.google.com and manage my calendar there. I am going to show you how to get a couple of things set up there today, but then I'm going to be switching over and showing you what it actually looks like on my computer. And I use a Mac, but this will look similar to any other calendar application that you would use that feeds in all of those calendar inputs so that you have one source of truth for what's coming up for you, for your business, personal, and everything. So our first step is to create a daily template calendar, right? So what we're going to do here is open our Google Calendar, or create one if we don't have one. And then we're going to create a new calendar. Now you have a calendar, right? But there's a list of calendars that Google provides, and you get to add a new one to it. We're going to call it daily template. And this is going to hold our recurring framework, meaning how our days are set up. Okay. And we're going to use that to map our week. We're going to build out an ideal week by creating recurring events with this daily template calendar. And we'll map the whole day. This is work time, personal time, family time, everything. Okay. And then we're going to mark some of these blocks in our daily template as busy. These are times that we are not going to be bookable, right? Ideally, these are times when you would be able to dedicate to things that can't be or shouldn't be interrupted, right? And we'll mark other times as free. That provides us some space to be bookable. Before you worry that someone is going to not hop on your calendar, right? Because you have marked yourself busy, I want you to understand the person that wants to meet with you is going to tell you that they don't see a time, and it's going to be okay. All right. And I want you to remember as well, before I get into this and show you, is that this is not a hard constraint. We aren't creating new rules for ourselves to punish ourselves. We are creating boundaries so that we can actually build more yes into our daily life. Yes, for ourselves. Yes, for our goals. Yes, for achieving the things that we have on our to-do list that keep getting pushed off because of distractions, right? But this is a suggestive framework, right? This is not something that I want you to feel burdened by. So let's go ahead and take a look at my week, okay? Now, the first step is to create an extra calendar, right? So when you get into your Google Calendar, you may see that yours is blank. I got a ton of stuff here, and I'll explain all of this in just a minute. Now, I have this calendar here. You can click here and you can see that you can create events and tasks this way. And I'm not going to fool with any of that. This is all I want you to fool with. Right down here, if we scroll down to where it says My Calendars, I want you to scroll all the way down until you see Other Calendars and a plus. Click this. Now click Create New Calendar. I want you to create a new calendar and call it daily template. When you do this, and you can put a description in here. I don't think you need to because I think it speaks for itself. I want you to create this daily template. You click create calendar. And you're going to see over here in your list of calendars, there's a new one. See, I have this sort of brown color. It just created an orange one for me. So I'm going to come back over here. And as you can see, I already have a daily template calendar. So we're going to be using your daily template calendar to create recurring events. Now, I start in the morning. Now, do I wake up at 6 a.m. every day? No, not necessarily. But would I like to? Is that my goal? Yes. Okay. So I have decided to give myself space for a morning routine between 6 and about 7:45. I give myself a little bit of time to have, I'd put breakfast here just to remind myself. Breakfast doesn't truly take 15 minutes unless it's like already made. This is really more of a thing that I put in here myself because my Chinese medicine doctor said that I needed to not skip breakfast. So I put it on my calendar so that it's in my face, right? So you don't truly have to mark this out. I would for you, you might just decide to have yours morning routine, and we would assume that that includes something like breakfast, right? But there are some other things that I like to include here, and I'll get into the details of why you see other colors on top of my daily template here in just a bit. But basically what I've done is I've decided between 6 and 7:45, this is where I'm going to get everything done, or it's truly between 6 and 8. I'm going to get everything done that I need to get done, right? That's a morning that I need to walk the dog. That's part of this. If I want to journal, and I want to maybe make that a part of what I do. And again, set some intentions here for this being something that I do. I'm going to put some space down for that. I want to make sure that I exercise. Maybe I want to make sure I do that twice a week, right? I'm going to build that into this space that I've created because that can fit into my morning routine, right? Even my little time to prepare and eat breakfast before I get to work. Now, I have spent a great amount of time using a system like this and a software that I use totally unaffiliated called Rescue Time because I'm super highly distractible naturally. And this was before Apple really started doing a great job of creating nanny features that you can install for yourself to maybe not allow you to open Slack or messages or email during certain hours of the day, right? So that tool that I used actually taught me that my most creative or creatively productive times of day that I should protect from distractions are the mornings. So that means that between 8 and noon, that's when I want to really lock in and do difficult work, where I want to do complex work or where I want to do creative work. So creating content, or as I've been doing this last week, migrating from my systems from ChatGPT to Claude so that I can get better writing. And so I actually create space for this. Now, and a really important thing about this daily template, and this is work and walk because I also intentionally create space to open up my folding desk treadmill and actually do I'm physically walking at my desk while I'm doing this creative work. So I create space for that as well. Again, don't do it all the time, but I intend to, and I'm creating space for that to become a reality. Now, importantly, this recurring events, you can see here that this happens on Mondays and Tuesdays during this 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. time block. I am set as busy, right? So I am not bookable. Clients can't book me here. Leads and prospects can't book me here. And I have other settings that I use on my device that stop notifications from coming through during this period of time, such as pings and dings from emails, Slack, texts, etc. Right? No push notifications. I am locked in. I'm getting that work done. This is the kind of thing that will allow you to get an entire course created in an afternoon if you wanted to. It's remarkable if you could just shut your distractions off and commit yourself to doing one thing, what you can get done in a few hours of time, right? So I have the daily template in place. And if we look week over week, so here's next week, for instance, and I've just started putting some work onto here, and I've got some of my recurring stuff that I want to do that's here as well. This is another time block that I also have set myself as busy. I can make exceptions if I absolutely must, but just generally as a rule, I'm protecting my most productive hours of the day. I've created a space for lunch, again, because I am the type of person who will forget to eat. So I am, putting those onto the calendar to deliberately create that space to step away. I adjust this. So like right now I'm running a cohort where I need, to be able to clearly designate to myself that I will have lunch during this period in between these calls. And of course, it looks a little bit different here on Thursdays for me as well, because it's going to be in between the two calls that I host on Thursdays. So I have this dedicated so that each day looks a certain way, right? So you can see here that my Friday looks a particular way. This looks this way because, and there's no work in this space because I got to commute to this, right? This takes a while to get to. And so in order for me to get there, I'm obviously not going to be taking calls in between, but I do have a little bit of flexibility there. So the types of activities that I might engage in that aren't deep work, creative stuff, I could maybe fit into a space like that. But you see how this is making sense, right? We have a daily template with recurring events. So this is one that is Monday and Tuesday. My Wednesday one, I actually just keep for the larger block. Again, that shows me as busy. They look a little bit different on Thursdays, and of course, they look different on Fridays. Another thing that I use as a recurring event is my wrap up and next day prep. And this is going to be something that is a non-negotiable. I take 15 minutes minimum at the end of every day. Anything that I didn't get done that day, I move over to the next available block to work on. So for instance, if my March content creation isn't done by the end of the day on Monday, I'm going to create a new block on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever my next available block is for me to do focused work to continue working on my March content creation, right? And so I'll know where I can do the kinds of work that I want to do based on the spaces that I've created. Now, another thing I want to call to your attention, because I did mention that I am doing, as part of my daily template framework here, what I'm doing here is I'm protecting my most productive hours for deep work in the mornings. And in the afternoons, if you look at the spaces that I've created, I am listed as free. This means that I am bookable, right? This means that someone can, a lead, a client, et cetera, can get on my calendar. Right. I also have dinner on here. I also had like walking the dog in certain seasons of the year, depending on, the schedule for the rest of the family. It's off my plate right now. It's also pretty impossible in New York City to walk a dog very far right now with all of the snow on the ground. So this is not something that I have here, but I adjust this every few months to make sure that it's matching the season I'm in. I do certainly keep a sort of routine for the evening here as well, helping me again to remember what it is that I want to do. So this isn't just about work, it's about the whole picture. It's about really deciding that you're going to own your day and not be a victim of circumstance to whatever the day throws at you, right? You can choose to have lanes in place through which you can engage and keep healthy boundaries. All right. Now, once you have your daily template calendar created, and basically what that means again is you are creating recurring events at different times of day where you are available or not for different types of things for each day. Monday may look the same as Tuesday, but Wednesday may be different, right? You want to make sure that this accurately reflects what your availability looks like. So if you have a job, you're going to have the block of time that you are working, right? If that's Wednesday from 8 to 4, but then you've got availability, from 4 to 7 to take calls, then that is, these are recurring events that you would put onto your calendar and designate yourself as available or not. Now, the other thing that we're going to do here is a multiple calendar approach. We've got our daily template. That's where we are designating what kinds of things can happen, right? Then we're going to create a couple of additional types of calendars, just like we did for the daily template one. And we're going to use those to actually schedule intentionally the work that we want to get done. So projects or deep work, this would be when you're busy, unavailable time. Communications type work, so think like prospecting, engaging on social media, engaging in any kind of outreach. I would do this during a period of time that you might otherwise count yourself as free to take appointments because it's a communications period of your work. Personal would be for your appointments, your commitments, and wellness or growth would be things that personal to you or to your business. These are activities that you want to create space for. So for me, that is Tai Chi on Fridays, right? Or journaling for 15 minutes in the morning, maybe doing Pilates at home twice a week, or, this Friday going and spending the afternoon at the spot, right? So let's go take a look at what it looks like to create those additional calendars. It's going to be a really familiar step here. Again, all we're going to do is go to My Calendars in your Google Calendar, scroll all the way to the bottom here to Other Calendars, and create a new one. Now, I've already done this, and you can actually see here that I have created, there's this blue one. This is projects, right? So this, let me go to the settings for this. So this is time to complete tasks for specific projects like content creation, funnel building, website updates, newsletters, etc. So those are my projects. And I do that during the periods of time that I, in my daily template, have rendered myself busy, unbookable, right? I am dedicating some hours of my week that no one else can touch. And I'm going to do project work, such as content creation, funnel development, etc. during those periods of time. I also created a communications calendar, and I specified in the settings for this one that this is where I am prospecting, I am using social media, I may be on one-on-ones with clients, with leads, etc. Right? And so I do that in the periods of time where, if you see right here, I am free during this 2 to 4 p.m. time slot. I'm going to go ahead and basically pencil in, right? I'm going to be doing these activities, such as connecting with 5 new people on social, picking up 5 existing conversations, right? So I'm prospecting in the afternoons, I'm deep working in the mornings, right? And I'm intentionally creating space for myself to do that. Right? So what will always be on your calendar, so if I go another week in the future, a couple weeks in the future, you can see here that this daily template stays the same. And unless I create another recurring event, which for me I have, I'm going to journal every morning. And I want to make sure that that's here during my morning routine. And I want to remind myself to do Pilates on Mondays and Wednesdays. I also want to have a habit of prospecting, right? So these specific activities, I'm giving myself space to do every afternoon. And if a client books me or if a lead books me during this time, that's great. I'll hop on with them because this type of work is fundamentally flexible and can be done with less, there's less issue if you get distracted, right? So on top of our daily template, we are going to plug in the work that we are going to do, right? So you can kind of see, I even like fit in my deep work into the afternoons too. Mostly because what I do with my calendar is I'm not generally bookable unless it's like 24 hours ahead of time. And I decide at the end of the day when I do my wrap up and next day prep, what I'm going to do the following day. So I don't have to worry if somebody is going to book me tomorrow because I don't make myself bookable. I need advance notice. I want to be able to review your work, right? Those are boundaries that I set, and they're healthy boundaries, and I encourage you to set them as well. So let's get back over here and take a quick look at what it looks like to schedule our week. So what we do is we use these work type calendars, and they kind of overlay on top of our daily template. They specify what we'll do inside of our template blocks. So instead of saying, I'm going to do project work, right, using my that deep work or project calendar, I'm going to say I'm working on course module 3. Or I'm going to use my communications calendar and say I'm reaching out to 5 new people, right? Or I'm going to use my dedicated project time and I'm going to plan my Q2 content, right? And you're going to adjust this during the week as needed and move any unfinished tasks to new blocks on the in upcoming days that you have available, right? This is something that's fundamentally flexible. So how I would encourage you to look at this is to go ahead and block out time that you know you want to spend on your projects, but you don't have to fill up every conceivable available moment. Know that you've got the availability to kind of, adjust as you go. This is flexible. It is your time after all. And if something does come up and you need to make yourself unavailable during the times that you would otherwise be available, you can create an event and mark yourself as busy. I often have to do this when I know that there's going to be some kind of travel happening for me. Where I don't want to find myself in a situation where maybe someone wants to secure time with me, but it could be iffy, right? Especially right now with snow and transit and stuff like that, right? And actually also for me with my birthday coming up, I have commitments that have been put on my schedule that I'm unaware of, right? So for instance, I've got personal stuff here, so I basically just cleared everything out of Friday. And if just as an example, I wouldn't normally take calls in the morning, right? But just in case, I went ahead and created an all-day event here that marks me as busy, right? I'm just making an all-day event that marks me as busy. And I would encourage you to do that as well. We're going to be traveling this particular Friday. I would normally be available, but I don't know what my cell signal is going to look like. So I will be working remotely as we're commuting on probably projects and outreach, but I'm not going to take appointments just again, because I don't want to potentially not be able to show, right? So you can just create an all day busy event for yourself if you ever need to, or you could do it inside of an hour where you've dedicated work. Really important though, when you are creating these new events, such as maybe I want to do something right here. This is a work block that I make myself free, so I'm bookable. So if I want to create a new event, and this is going to be on my communications calendar, I am going to, what am I going to do here? I am going to post blog to LinkedIn. That's only going to take me, I'm going to spend 30 minutes doing this. Make sure that if this is going to be during a time block when you are normally free and bookable, make sure that the event that you put there for yourself is free, right? So that way, the activity that you want to allow to be somewhat interruptible can be interruptible, right? So you can create events where you are marked as free. And that's essentially what this looks like. You are going to go ahead and decide. So for instance, I'm going to say next Tuesday morning, I am still working on a set of web pages. So I'm going to put page development here. And this is going to be my projects calendar. I'm going to render myself busy because this is focused work. And this I have set from 8 to 9 a.m. I actually want to go ahead and make that from 8 to 10, just to give myself the full 2-hour block that I have there. And now it's done, right? So let's just say, for instance, I get started with content creation here for March, and my goal is to get it done by the end of the week, right? Maybe I don't do this page development, right? Maybe I actually anticipate I need to work on both of these things, and these are kind of my primary projects for the week. If I don't get this complete, I need to be able to, at the end of the day, Monday, basically create a new version of this for the next day, right? Or to move it over here, etc. Right? So when you're planning out your week, I want you to think about capturing the best focus time or the most, the projects that demand the most focus. Go ahead and create some blocks for those, but don't try to book up every single piece of space that you have if you anticipate that what you're doing could take you a bit longer, right? You want to be able to say, all right, I can expand that into the next day if I need to. Hoping that makes sense. All right, let's get back over here to our slides. Now, each week you're going to plan. I always build into my daily template planning for the next day or planning for the following week, which I do on Fridays. So at the end of each week, I want you to spend about 15 minutes planning the next week. And that's just simply creating these calendar events using those different calendars that you created. So a projects one or a communications one, personal, growth, etc. And then fill in those work blocks using those calendars. And this weekly planning is going to save you so many hours of reactivity and distractedness so that you can really just get the things done that you want to get done without worrying about everything feeling like it's on fire, right? Now, the final step here is to make sure that everything is connected to Attractwell. So we want to connect this calendar that you've just set up to Attractwell under My Calendars. And if you book calls with a different calendar, then you want to add this one, of course, still to your Attractwell account. But in your booking types and in your call packages, you just want to make sure that this one shows up under additional calendars to check. And Attractwell is going to read your connected calendar and prevent any scheduling conflicts automatically. Now, the calendar that we're going to connect is actually the daily template, because that is going to be basically your rule set, right? So these days I am available, these days I am not, or these periods of time of the day. And this basically allows you to go into Attractwell and just have 9 to 5 or whatever the parameters are that you set and decide on, those can be the ones that are the rule. So let's come over here in the left-hand side of Attract Well. If we go over to My Calendars under the Bookings menu, I don't have it connected here, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to click Connect Calendar. I'm going to go to Google. And I'm going to connect this calendar here, and it is going to ask me which one I want to use. I'm going to select the daily template calendar. Oh, goodness. What happened there, Google? I just did this on the last call and it didn't. Here we go. Yeah, daily template is the one we want to use because that's the one that we set the rules with, right? So the daily template, I'll connect. And then what we want to do is go to our booked meetings. Sorry, not booked meetings, booking types and call packages. And so for anything that you create, you just want to make sure as a rule, I'm going to go here. You have the calendar that you're going to use to book on, and then you want to check against your daily template. So go over here under additional calendars to check, select your daily template, select save booking type. This says 9 to 5. I'm available, but I'm not available 9 to 5. We know that. We know 9 to noon. I'm definitely not available. So if we go and we view this, we can see that where availability does show, let's see over here, and this may actually be showing Greg's thing. This is perhaps slightly different than what it needs to be. Or maybe I didn't save it actually. Hold on. That would have been a good idea. Yeah, I think it's because we have a different calendar connected that might be overriding that. But basically what's going to happen is that whatever your calendar is set for in terms of when you're available, when you're not, if you're checking against the one that says, 8 to noon, I am not available ever, right? Then regardless of what this says here, what they're going to see when they go to book you is going to reflect what is on your actual calendar, right? And so you can keep a wider frame of availability here in Attract Well, so long as you have your calendar account connected, and that calendar reflects the actual space that you are making available to be booked, right? Does that make sense? And that is basically it. So I want you to consider getting a system like this into place. Give yourself a daily template calendar and add some additional calendars to it to really designate the types of work that you're doing. This will allow you to no longer be making decisions about how you spend your time in the moment. You can just show up and do the work that you plan to do ahead of time. You're not wondering or worrying about what you need to do because it's already decided. And those busy blocks are going to protect your time automatically, and your free blocks are going to allow booking with you without you needing to go in and manage your availability inside of Attract Well. All right. Before we get into our live help and Q&A, and I will be bringing you out here in just a moment, Leslie, I want to show you guys a couple of really cool updates that Greg has made to the system this week. Some really exciting stuff here. So let me come right back over here to Attract Well. A couple of things. First, when you upload a document that you want to share into Attract Well, you're going to put it over here in your file section. This is something that you probably already know. So maybe I have a PDF here, right? So I've got a digital course description. Here we go. So I've got a PDF here that I want to share in my funnel. And so when I do that, I'm going to be sending that out in the day 0 message of my campaign, or maybe I've even sold it and I'm sending it in the day 0 message. But we've got an option here. Let's just say for this one, in my day 0, here's your guide. You actually have the option now to display the PDF itself inside of the field. And this is also true on pages, so it's not just an email. So check this out. I'm going to where I want to put this, and I'm going to click More Rich. I'm going to click Insert or Manage Files. Here's the PDF right here. And now I have options. So instead of just having a clickable link, we can use a PDF viewer right here. So we'll click Insert. Look at that. It's right there. It's inside of the email. Pretty cool, right? Now, the other option, which I love equally, because this was not a capability before, and it makes me so happy that it is now, I can come back over here to More Rich, click Insert or Manage Files, and here's that PDF. I want to insert a download link. I can go ahead and say what I want it to say. So click here to download, right? Because it used to just hyperlink the file and like the name of the file. So I just click insert and now it says click here to download. I can maybe turn that into a button if I want. Just really, really cool how we can do that. All right. Another thing that Greg put into place this week is the ability to take signatures. All right. So this, if you guys are wanting to get agreements, now I'm not talking about like, super technical, legally binding stuff, but if you want to capture a signature, it will save into your account. So let's go over here and take a look at the form on this page. If I go to settings here, I'm going to go to leads. Form is shown on the page. Fields and booking, you now have the option to request or even require a digital signature, which is pretty cool. We can take a quick look here. Open that up and you can see here, we can make a signature right here. It's pretty cool, right? And that's going to save into that contact file. Another really exciting thing, and this is something that we just added yesterday from a member request. If you are taking payments for call booking, so if you're selling your time, you're selling calls, you can connect payments to and require payments for booking with you. And we've added a every 2-week interval to that. So you can require payments for your bookings, obviously connect your Stripe account. If it's a recurring payment, you now have weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. And finally, last thing, super cool, you can now send and receive voice memos using the text features with Attractwell. So if I wanted to go and send a text voice broadcast out to all of my clients, I could go to the dashboard here and I could go to send an email, text, or app notification. I'm going to do just one message. I'm going to filter from my clients. I'm going to write text and I can hold this down and leave a voice note. So I can actually record myself and actually leave a recording in here and send that out. So this would be a broadcast. And this also works in our two-way texting. Now you're seeing that error message up here because this isn't actually, it's a dummy account. It won't look like that for you. If it does, obviously get in touch with our team. But you can see here, you can send out these voice memos. And this is what it looks like maybe if you're texting back and forth with a client, right? You can send a voice memo to them from here. You can also schedule to send it later. Maybe you just had a thought, but it's 10 p.m. You don't want to send it now. You can record it and you can schedule to send it later. Really cool. All right. Keep the questions coming in the Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and bring you out here, Leslie, and then I'll be getting into the Q&A after. Let me find you here real quick. Hey, all right. How can we help today?
Unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I love that this was a calendar thing. That's not what I thought I was coming to, but that was great to learn all that. But I do have a question because I use my Mac calendar. And is there a way to connect it? So even if I set up some of these things in Google, because I know you guys don't directly connect to Mac, can you guide me through that? Maybe that'll be helpful for other folks as well.
Yes, absolutely. I use Mac and I never open opening up the Google Calendar in the browser is something I literally never do, except for instances like today when I'm teaching.
Yes.
I use the Apple Calendar. And so what I do is in your settings on your Mac under calendars. So you go to settings, go to apps, go to calendar, connect your Google account there. And then what you're going to see is, let me come over here real quick. This is my Apple Calendar. Right. And so everything is here. The Apple Calendar actually shows my travel time, which I set up in the Apple Calendar, not the Google one. I find it much easier to modify stuff here too. I find it a better user experience than using the web-based Google one. You can, swipe around and look far ahead without having to click and load. So this is what I do. And also importantly, if you have tons of things that you connect, so if you have multiple calendars, inboxes, et cetera, that you manage, you can keep that in one place. And really critically, you get focus filters because I have other calendars that have other stuff on it that I don't need to see during times when I'm focusing. I could also check and uncheck family, like my husband's school calendar is on here, and none of that is going to bother me while I'm working because I've got this focus feature too. So yeah, no, I use the Apple feature exclusively, but you can see this is basically the same thing. It just,
Yeah.
slightly colored differently. So yeah, you're going to go into settings on your Mac, do the same thing on your phone, and then go to apps, go to calendars, and then connect your Google Calendar there. And then you can just manage it from your device natively
Awesome.
onward.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It saves me a ton of time. That really, to me, like that's the benefit of having Mac devices is it makes things like this so simple. You don't have to fool with it. You do it once.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Anything else? I know there's
Awesome.
something else.
Yes, is how do I get rid of, I don't know if you're going to pull up my site or how we're going to do
Mhm.
this, but how do I get rid of the contact me? If I just want people to be just filling out a lead form um as opposed to the actual contact thing. I'm not even sure how to alter it or get rid of it. You'll see that the red one at the top, that's just there. I feel like that was just built in. And so I'm
Let
not
me
sure
see. Yeah, this is
even
super, super easy.
okay.
So if you wanted to use something, you can remove it entirely. So this is under website menu, and it's just a
Okay.
menu item that you have. Would you want something else to be there?
I would just love to, yeah, how do I alter it? I'm not sure. I guess, do I need that if I already have links to other ways that they can connect me? Like if you go up to work with me and choose one of the services. So like choose, if you go back up to work, yeah, you can go to life coaching. And then if you scroll to the bottom or if you hit one of those buttons, it's going to take you to,
Yeah.
an actual form. Is that?
That is 100% sufficient. And you want people to come in through lanes anyway.
Yes.
So maybe what we do for the freebies is we make that a button instead, right?
Oh, okay. In other words, in the menu, I can decide if it's a button or if it's just a menu item.
Yep.
I
Right. You
see. Oh,
see here,
that's
we can
great.
preview it where it says style. You could just have
Yeah.
it be a link. You can see what it looks like. Or
Okay.
primary could be the red one. It could be your orange one, right? So I'm going to leave it red because that's what you had before.
Yeah. Let's just see
And
how that looks.
now,
So
there you go.
now it would be on freebies and the contact me is gone.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
That was super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anything else?
Um, let me see what else I had. The other question was on emails. I was glad to see that somehow the drag and drop email templates got fixed because last week I couldn't even see them. They were all scattered. I don't know if anybody else had that problem. It was literally creating almost this overlay over the rest of the site and I couldn't access it. And then
Oh,
yesterday it
weird.
somehow appeared correctly for me, which is bizarre. But one of the things that I'm having trouble with is when I click in to actually make an email. It will say like click here to add text. And if I already have text, if I've written text in there, it won't let me just click on an area of text to make a correction. I have to somehow find where the cursor is and just like with my arrow keys, push it down. I don't know if anyone else has talked about that. So,
Is that
um,
like, were you using your template here? Is that what's happening there?
let's see. If
Or
you go, let's see. If you uh, go to campaigns,
Mhm.
we can do it live on one of them. And click website inquiry for services
Mhm.
and then open up that first email. Yeah,
Mhm.
so if I click on the email to try to edit it,
Mhm.
if you scroll down into the text area, like if I want to change something in the text, let me see if you can just click on any area of text or does it start only at the beginning? See, you
Oh,
can.
it's
I wonder what that is on my, it won't let
hmm.
me do that. So in other words, where it's flashing at the top, I have to just use
Uh-huh.
my cursor, my arrow keys on my computer keyboard to get to the place I want to go. It's very
Oh,
strange.
interesting.
Yeah.
So do you I would definitely check to make sure that your software updates have been run, that all of that is
Okay.
up to date.
Yeah.
And then I would do just maybe like a clear your browser history, just in case there's anything quirky or wonky there.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to just click on where you want to edit, and then,
And then just type in,
yeah,
right.
just go to wherever you want to put something in. Yeah.
Yes. That's what made sense to me. And then I couldn't make it do it. I worked on it for like an hour trying to figure it out.
Oh,
And I figured I'd just
yeah,
wait
it's
till today to ask if
frustrating. Yeah, no, I'm
maybe it
sorry
was
to
a
hear that. No,
glitch.
that is not how it should behave. And my assumption is that that has something to do with the software that you're using.
Okay.
and how it's interacting with the page. So yeah, I would just make sure that it is up to date, the software, and then see about maybe clearing any cache, cookies, history, etc., with Attractwell, and then try it again and see if that works.
Great. And right now, are you using Chrome? What browser are you using right now?
Safari, the
You're
built-in
using
one for.
Safari.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I don't like Chrome.
Okay.
And I find like on a Mac, I understand that it probably a superior browser in a lot of ways, but I value the Mac for simplicity.
Yeah.
And I've
Okay.
learned how to use it. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's not broke for me. And
Yes.
I guess the side benefit is that I get to be the weirdo with the quirks that Greg needs to know about because I use
Yes.
Safari. So no, I think that the stuff that Mac builds for Mac works best on Mac. And I find personally, historically, Chrome to just be a little big and clunky, but
Yeah.
to each their own.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: Is Attractwell, are you guys built to be optimized best on Safari, or is it really built for Chrome, Safari, Firefox, whatever?
I think Greg is usually on
Should work.
Chrome building it. So
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it is
That's so
usually
interesting.
Chrome. I mean, but that being said, it should work in all the browsers.
exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
Ashley's usually the one that finds the Safari bugs sooner
Yeah.
because she uses it all the time, which is great.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it should also run on like Firefox, and
Hmm.
that's not very used very much, but
Okay,
there used
cool.
to be
Well,
more
I will do
browsers. But
those
yeah,
those tips that Ashley said about just the cache and just getting rid of, seeing if I can clear it out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, Tony had a question just while we're looking at this. So Tony, these 6 dots that you see on the side, these are where this is drag and drop. So if we wanted to reorder any of these sections, that's what they're for. So you grab these and then you can move these around. That's what that's for. All
Awesome.
right. What else?
Well, I'd love to have you go through the site and see what
Sure.
any thoughts and comments if that was really what this was for. I'm
Yeah.
glad I got to ask some questions. Um,
Yes. Okay. So first things first, I think that this button deserves breathing room. You want to make sure that it's not right on top of this section right here.
yeah, it
So if
wasn't like that yesterday. I'm not sure.
it might be, it might have to do, oh, okay. So yeah, you're going to want to double check how oh, here we go. Yeah. So it's going to depend, I guess, on the device you're on, but it looks like it's staying pretty locked down to the section beneath it right now.
Yeah, and it's
So
not on my browser. So this is where I get confused, is because I've set it up so that uh somebody showed me how to do to X out like mobile and the
mhm,
tablet and make two
mhm.
different sections. So I'm right now on my Chrome and I have it up and there's nothing overlapping like that. It is exactly as I've designed it. So I think that's so interesting that on yours that's how it's
Yeah,
showing up.
I'm seeing that there is a little bit of an alignment issue here too. I think that the best place to go if you want to know for sure if it's going to work or wherever it's going to show up is to
Yeah.
click these different preview options. And so this one
Yes.
you have for the wider devices. And the main issue that I'm seeing here is alignment over here on the side, and that could be part of the issue. And it does look like it's got some space here. So it's just it might just take a little bit of tweaking. Honestly, what I
Okay.
would do is in the actual editor, uh, use talk to text or speak to it or type and
Yeah.
just say, hey, it's doing this. Just describe what it is and say I
Okay.
want it to do this instead and see what it comes up with. And it usually knows how to do things better than I do.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome.
I would adjust this how you have this image set up here because we can't see you.
That
So
is so
that's
strange because I have checked it
yeah.
on every device, and on mine, I've checked by using those little things that you showed me there, and
Uh-huh.
they are showing up exactly correct.
This looks great on mobile. And it's looking good here too. This is where we've got the issue with it. You can kind of see it right here. It looks like this whole section is kind of stuck over to the left-hand side too, which is something we want to fool around with. But if we go and maybe edit, is this a section background image what you have here? I think it might be.
Gosh, I don't know, whatever was built in there,
Yes.
but none
Ah,
of this is showing up on mine. I mean, that's what's so strange about this is when I'm looking at exactly what I think you're looking at, it's showing up perfectly on my screen. Um, and you are on a regular
Mhm,
wide main computer, why would it be
mhm.
doing that? Why would it show one way on mine and an entirely different way on yours?
Not really sure. But what I will say is the source of truth and how it will reliably show up wherever is going to be through these preview features here. And it looks like the only thing that you really need to adjust is going to, it looks like, just be related to the larger screen devices, because I think that you rightly have done quite well with getting this all set up for mobile, which is where a great number of people get their information anyway, especially if you're on social. So
Yeah, that section's weird. That black section is very strange.
yeah, and so again, an example of something you could do here is to say that, just go in here and say uh, these these are not stacking correctly on mobile. Make sure that this section is mobile responsive. Like, just talk to it, and it will go in and
Yeah.
do the code stuff that I couldn't
Yeah.
even tell you how
Okay.
to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
That is what I have been doing, and it's been miraculous of how accurate it is. So I'm really shocked that this is what you are seeing.
yeah.
Um,
So I think the best way to go about doing this is to just pop right here. And then what we'll see, because we see all of this over here on the left-hand side. So we can say in this section, um, hold on, let me do my talk here.
Thank you.
The box with copy in the left-hand side of this page is too far left on desktop devices. It needs to be slightly adjusted so that it is fully visible in widescreen. Let's see what it does.
Let's see the magic.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. All right, so we can give it a minute. It might make some adjustments. It might not do what we want it to do, but we will see. I think, let me see if that made any difference. It did not. I think what we would need to do here, let's see if that margin made a difference. Oh yeah, yes, it did.
That's good.
That's good. So our margin was off. Um, let's see if that still works the way that we want it to. It does. Actually, no, this
Not,
white underneath
yeah,
is
not
not.
really. I want
Yeah.
it to wrap so that the
Yep.
word one, yeah, there you go. One
Yeah.
life is on the
That's
same.
great. All right, so let's go ahead and save this and we can refresh this. Yeah, there it is.
Okay,
Yep,
and
just
let
a
me
little
on
margin
my
issue.
side, let me do that as well and see if that changed anything for me.
And I think part of what's going on here is that this, let me see if I can isolate it. This section, not that one, this, mm, for some reason, it's wider or taller rather than it needs to be.
Yeah. And it looks
But
like there is a white box, that's leaning into the sleeve of my
mhm.
arm of the photo that I don't want either. In other words, I don't want this to be in a box. I just want it to be free. See how there's like
Oh, this
stripes?
this white background you're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you use the element style editor and then you kind of need to poke around until you can grab it. And I'm not seeing a clear way to do that. So I'm going to just ask it in this section to um, remove the white background from this section. Well, that it didn't hear me. Remove the white transparent background from this section. So let's see if that removes it. It's like it doesn't want to hear me like the first couple of words. um,
This is so amazing that you can do this, though. This is
yeah.
how I built a lot of the site. So if anyone has been afraid to try it, this is literally what I've done is either speak it or type it in. And usually it can fix it, but there's a few that I've just not been able to do, like this particular one.
Yeah, and I think too, once you've made a bunch of changes, like there's different pieces that you can select, and that's kind of creating different levels of code.
Yeah.
And it can become a little challenging to isolate depending on how you've done that.
Yes.
I think we did it. We did.
We did. You did. Fantastic.
It did. I told it to. It did.
Thank you for that.
Yep. But yeah, I would do something similar here too. Is this a column? Do we have this as columns? Or no, you had it.
That's,
Yeah, yeah. So
you know,
what
I
I would
use most
do,
of the templates that you guys have naturally. So whatever I grab
mhm,
that shows that, whatever template that was, or not template, like a block you can choose to say, hey, put one of these kind in there.
yeah, the three columns are mobile responsive.
Yeah, I actually have it turned off for mobile, so it doesn't even appear on mobile because it makes
But
it
if
too
they are
large.
mobile responsive, then then you could turn it back on
Yes,
if it
true.
looks good. So yeah, that's but you're basically you're seeing how to do it. I love yeah, here we go. Check that out. Let's see how that behaves on mobile. Not
Okay.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So there you go. Now you can use it on mobile too. Um,
Perfect.
yeah, looks good. Uh,
Um,
so let's look at
cool.
one more thing right down here. Yeah, this image of you.
So weird.
You know what I would do? I would go into Canva. I
Okay.
would, for this background image that you have in this section. So you have this picture of you.
Yes.
Um, this is we want this to be, yeah. So what I would do is I would use the blog banner preset in Canva, and I would click,
Hang on, blog banner preset. Okay.
mhm, yep, and then create an image where a portion of the page has this sort of tan light background, right? There's a crew background right here. And then there's
Okay.
the image of you on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. And attach that as the background image of this section. And
Okay.
then that is going to ensure that that you are showing up on the right-hand side because you have all of this content left aligned. Um, and this isn't showing up on mobile anyway. You have a dedicated mobile section. So on
Yes.
desktop, you'll basically be guaranteed to have your image on the correct side. And then any sort of spillover of, I don't know, this might actually just be white. No, it's not. Yeah. So this color that you have right here, have that be the background color of the other part of the image you're creating in Canva. Upload that, make
Yeah.
that the background of this section, and then I think
Okay.
that'll play more in the direction of what you're stylistically trying to do there.
Yes. And am I able to share my screen so you can see how I'm seeing it show up, what it's supposed to look like? Is
I
there a way to
don't know
do
that I
that?
would be able to do that in the webinar, but the only difference between what you see and what I see is typically going to be the resolution of your screen in the browser like this,
Okay.
or here on the published page. And this is, just depending on how wide someone has their browser, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be what makes things shift, what makes them
Yeah.
change, right? And
So
so
let me,
we could see things wildly differently just based on those factors. And the best way for you to know most reliably how anyone would be able to see it, whether it's how you see it right now, how I see it, the best likelihood of them seeing it is going to be utilizing these previews. So if we can get it to look
yeah.
great in the preview, we're going to have
Yeah.
the best chance of having it look the way that we want it to on the devices, regardless
I
of what they're using.
I gotcha. So here's what's interesting because this has happened a few times. Is that so for instance, that next section that we're talking about where it's all funky, it has never been funky on any of the things. It's never looked that way.
Hmm.
And now today, even on my computer, it's looking funky like what it's looking for you. And I haven't touched that section in probably at least a week or so. So I'm not sure what's causing that. Like, in other words, like I went to bed last night, looked at the whole site, everything was exactly aligned. And now
Uh-huh.
getting up this morning, now these things aren't. So how
Okay.
How does
So
that happen?
some like it could be that something wasn't saved or something was overwritten. We do have revision history, so you can go back to a previous version of the page and
Okay.
restore where
Yeah.
you would have been last night, for instance. So I would
Okay.
maybe consider doing that. Just in
Okay.
case there was, any accidental change that you made, it got saved. You could actually go back and find that version
Yeah. I
that didn't have
gotcha.
the issues.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you very
Awesome.
much. I think I'm
Yeah,
good. I think that was what was helping me. So I really appreciate the time and you taking the time to look at it.
yeah, absolutely. Glad to help.
Maybe it
All
helped
right.
other folks as well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think every time we have someone come on and share what it is that they're doing, I think it's pretty much always helpful. So thank you for sharing your work with us.
Absolutely. And can I ask you a quick question? Just last
Sure.
question is just,
Mhm.
am I on camera or is it just my voice?
It's just your voice.
Okay, great. I couldn't find any place to turn on my camera. I wasn't sure if you were seeing me. All right, I'm
All
finished.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. All right. So you guys, really, really thrilled to have you here today. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Know that this space is available for you if you're looking for help, if there are things that you'd like to learn more about, if there are things that you want to try that you haven't done before, right? We are here to help you do it. Matter of fact, next week, we are going to show you how you could get started with live events, even if you don't have a big audience yet. How you can turn those events into evergreen assets for your business. So if you're interested in things like workshops and webinars, things that you might be able to use in a funnel or to use as a way to sell the things that you do. So offering virtual events. And we're going to get into all of that next week. And I'm going to show you how you can create the stuff and host it all in one system in a way that you would have normally had to have 6 different logins and a team to execute. You can have something like this done in an afternoon so that you can start offering more dynamic things to sell or to create a pathway to sell the work that you do. So I hope you'll come and join us next week. Excited to see you guys again here, and we'll see you next time. Have a great week.